Hey, good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Want to welcome you to the Mental Profits webinar this morning on Google On Air Hangout. So we're going to get started here in just a little minute. I'm watching some people here on the webinar on the Hangout pop up and coming in. So good morning. Welcome to you. I appreciate you taking some time this morning. Let me tell you a little bit about what we're going to be covering this morning. It's going to be a fairly short hangout, but I've had so many people since we've launched Mental Profits, and you can go to mentalprofits.com. There's a couple of audios there. One of the things that I want to make sure is that people understand that you're in control. That's the thing I want you to understand, is that you're in control. So I've created this Mental Profits website for you to be able to give yourself that, we talk about it in personal development, that checkup from the neck up, because here's where everything comes from. I want to welcome everyone again coming onto the Hangout this morning. I appreciate you. I know it's a little bit early, but sometimes I remember when I was building my organizations, some of the things that my mentor would do with me is he would have those meetings, those 2 a.m. meetings, those 5:30 in the morning meetings, because he said, you know what? Success never sleeps. And he also said failure doesn't either. Failure seems to be awake a little bit more often, if you will. Why? Well, we're going to talk about that. So again, welcome everyone. My name is Sean Murphy. I'm going to be your host here for the next 45 minutes or so. I see it's 7:01. We're going to get started because I want to make sure that you have all that you can get out of this Hangout, out of this meeting together. So here's what we're going to do. I want you to, if you've got some pen and paper handy, and I want you to get a piece of paper out. I want you to get your pen out. I want you, because you're going to be taking some, I hope you're going to be taking some notes. Let's put it that way. So what I want you to do is on a sheet of paper is I want you to write down the word profits, and I want you to write it vertically. And we're going to go through each of those letters and talk about where profits come from. Talk about how you can control the profits that you need to in your life. Now, remember what the mantra is of Mental Profits. What is it? Your thoughts create your income. Your thoughts create your income. Well, I dare somebody to argue against that. Your thoughts do create your income. What I want to talk about, in addition to just income, because when we hear the word income, what's the first thing that comes to mind? We think of money, right? That's what we associate income with. Well, how much income do you have? See, when you start to look at that word, when you start to think of that word in the true sense of what it means, incoming into your life, what comes into your life? What do you bring into your life? What do you have showing up in your life? Because folks, isn't everything income? It is. So if everything is income, it's either going to add to your account, either your account, your emotional account, your love account, your business account, your friendship account, your family account. Boy, when it was taught to me that income is everything that comes into your life, everything, then I had to realize what controls what comes into my life. Well, we can say it's the environment, it's the time, there are some universal things. There's 7 universal laws that exist out there that we have no control over. We know they're there, so we can put ourselves in the way of success. But outside of those 7 universal laws, inside of Science of Getting Rich, you can find those. We'll talk about those on another program. But everything you think about, everything you think about, you bring about. So let's go through those letters from the word profit. First letter in the word profits, right? Mental profits, your mental profits. That first letter is what? P. What do you think it stands for? What do you think that P stands for? That P stands for people. See, it doesn't matter the business you're in. It doesn't matter if it's the incredible business of network marketing or traditional business like service business. It doesn't matter. Every business requires a consumption of product. Now, maybe they're consuming a service like your cable television or your cell phone, right? The wireless connection that you get at a store or in the airport. There's all of these services that we consume that somebody somewhere is making a profit on. So the first thing about profits is it requires people. Well, thanks for that wisdom, Sean. Here's my point. If it requires people, what do you have to do for people? Jim Rohn says you get paid for your value that you bring to people. Think about that. If you want to earn more income, now this is monetarily, if you want more money, you have to have more people. It's why I love the network marketing business. See, prior to, holy mackerel, is it now 15, almost 16 years ago? When I first started in the industry, I thought it was an arm's reach away from purse snatching. You've heard that line before. But why did I think that? Because I thought people who were in network marketing, it was a stereotype. It was a way of generating income that I believed before I got the rest of the information. I thought it was a bad way of generating income. Once somebody sat me down and said, hey, have you seen the professional side of this industry? I said, what do you mean? There's a professional side to purse robbing? Long story short, I saw the true leverage that exists in network marketing. And it really encompassed that P in profits, people. Because it's a business of volunteers. It's an industry of volunteers. Most businesses, any of your customers, any of your clients are volunteers. They have the choice to buy your product. Whether it's a fast food restaurant, whether it's a network marketing company, whether it's a computer supply company, understanding that people are what's going to drive your profits. Now, people also drive your profits if we're talking about romance, right? If we're talking about relationship, if we're talking about what Bob Proctor talks about, your emotional income, your EI, your emotional income. See, there's monetary income, your MI, and then there's the emotional income, your EI. How much joy do you get out of doing what you do? See, there's a lot of folks in professions that are absolutely underpaid. They deal with a lot of people. They bring tremendous value, and those are teachers. I believe we should be paying teachers what we pay doctors. If we paid teachers what we pay doctors, we would wind up with an educational program that would be totally encompassing, because they would have more time, more resources to take care of those people in their way, in their charge, in their energy flow. That's a whole nother story. So number one, people. You have to have people in order to be in business. Well, let me ask you a question then. One of the greatest books on people is the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. Do you have that book? Do you have that available to you? Do you know what I'm talking about? The book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's it's the stepping stone. It's the hallmark of great principles of dealing with people. See, because if you want more mental profits, more income coming into your life, your thoughts that create your income, if you want more of those positive, more of those driving you up towards your goal and faster towards your goal, then it's a benefit to understand how to work with people, how to leverage people, how to be a part of their lives and bring them tremendous value. So the first letter in profits is P, people. We all have to have people. Those of you that are watching this, I'm looking at the computer screen here. Thank you for being here. See, if we talk about becoming a leader in any of our businesses, primarily I deal in the network marketing industry. I'm blessed to be a part of that. So when we talk about leading, if you don't have people that you're leading, that you're working with, that you're bringing to their goals, that you're helping them move along their way, you're just out for a walk. You're not leading anyone if there's nobody following you, if you're not helping anyone. So number one, people. So what's next? R, profit. So the next letter is R, and we have to understand it's about building a relationship, about building rapport, about creating that connection that can last a lifetime, not a lunchtime. See, my mentor would always say to me when we would have conversations, he said, is this a conversation going to build on our lifetime relationship, or are we just having lunch today? He always wanted me to take it to a deeper level, to get off of the surface of, you know, it's never as bad as it seems. The opposite of that is it's never as good as it could be. So when we would have our private conversations, and we still do to this day, when we would have those conversations, he would say to me, lifetime, lunchtime, are we going to talk about things that can benefit your family, benefit your son Mason for the rest of his life? Because if we're on clock time, now there are things that are urgent, but I promise you, things that are urgent in our lives, if we really look at it, they may not be urgent. They may be important, but there's some things we'll talk about in time management later on, how to uncover the realities of urgent versus important. So this rapport. So how do you create rapport? Here's what my dad taught me. I've been in sales since I'm 4 years old. And understanding the power of communication, understanding the power of helping people get what they want, right? The Zig Ziglar, help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. My dad would always ask this question, doesn't matter the business, doesn't matter the industry, when we talk about people, we then have to immediately understand there's competition when you're in the income producing mindset, generating sales. My dad used to ask all of our salesmen. I grew up in a sales family. So we dealt with pharmaceuticals, refineries, chemical plants, nuclear facilities. I've been in most nuclear facilities in the United States. I've been in most coal mines, deep shaft, short mines. I've had a whole nother life prior to network marketing. But my dad would always ask this question. Whenever we were inside of a customer and we would have our sales meetings and our folks would come together, and this helped me so much inside of network marketing because it's even more important. And let me explain. He would always ask the question, who's your number one customer? So for those of you watching, who's your number one business partner? Is it somebody you personally sponsored? Is it somebody that is in your organization? Is it somebody that's come up through the ranks fast? Who's your number one business partner? Now, he would then ask this question. Now, we were talking traditional business. We were very large in what we called the phosphate mining industry. So we had some very large companies, and we did some large volumes with it. So my dad would ask the question, who's your number one customer? And we would each go around the room and we would say who our number one customer is. He says, great. Do you think you have the business locked up? Translate for our personal business, the network marketing industry, is that relationship strong? Is that relationship so strong that you could at midnight tonight call them up, wake them up out of a sleep and ask them to borrow their car? Now, for many of us in network marketing, the answer to that is yes. So that's important. Most people in business don't understand how important that rapport is, that relationship is. In network marketing, it's what everything lives on. So do you have the ability? Now, here's how you teach it to your team. People say when they're first beginning, oh my gosh, I've got people that start and then they quit. They start and they quit. Are you kidding? That happens to you? Why do I ask that? Why do I say that? Well, here's the thing. The reason that they probably leave, they quit, they don't have a conversation with you after the 90 days, right? Because 70% of people, 80% of people quit in the first 2-3 months because it wasn't that rapport. They didn't have enough belief in you, enough confidence in you that you were going to get them there. Here's the real reason why people quit, is because the relationship that you thought you had with them, they had no idea that was the relationship you had with them. Because here's why. If they get their monthly bill in the mail, their credit card bill, the bill that they have to talk about, that they have to pay every month, and they don't have a story on why that charge is there, to talk to their spouse, their family, their mom, their dad, their wife, their brother, their sister, their cousin. If they don't have that story of how you're going to help them, you, the company, the products, the team, whatever it is, if they don't have that story, how you're going to be able to help them, what are they going to say? If they don't have any way to justify, to validate, to confirm their decision to join you in business, they're going to quit. Oh, well, the product's not for me. No, what they're saying is you're not for me, because the products work. It doesn't matter the company. The products work. Oh, it's not for me. What they're saying is the company's not for me. The company hasn't shown me any love. Well, wait a minute. They've sent you the email. They gave you the products. They did the... Any excuse will do. I can come up with 1,000 reasons, but it all comes back to one word, and that word is love. We call it rapport. Think about the people that you love in your life. What kind of rapport do you have with them? It's unquestionable. It's undeniable. There's no way you can doubt the relationship you have with your family. Well, when you get it that way in network marketing, and some of you understand this, some of you, I see some of the names here, you understand you've created that kind of relationship that sometimes it's stronger than family, right? Because you get to pick your friends, you can't pick your family. So that one is rapport. Make sure that, understand the things that if you want more good coming into your life, if you want your mental profits, your thoughts control your income, your thoughts create your income, you have to have the mental thoughts up here that talk about, how do I be of best value? Now, I'm going to throw this out there. How do I be the best value without them taking advantage of me? See, sometimes we have to say no. Sometimes we have to say, that's all I can do. Because in this business, when you become successful, and successful is the first day you decide that you're successful. When you decide to do that, what can happen is instantly people begin to draw on that success. And if you're not careful, they can drain that level, that enthusiasm out of you. So make sure the rapport is both ways, that they're bringing you value and you're bringing them value. The next one, PRO, the O is observation. So we've got people. We're talking about rapport, creating that rapport. Now you've got to observe. When my mentor would teach this to me, I go, well, what do you mean looking at people, observing people? What do you mean just checking things out? What are you talking about? He said, you need to be aware. In this observation, see, we're looking for people who are ready. How many times have we come across people who are ready? I'm ready to go. Let's get started. Awesome. Would they get started and they don't do anything? Do you ever have that happen? Am I the only one? No, we've all had that happen. Okay, I see in the comments. It's happened to me. It's happened to me. It always happens. Why? Well, because we weren't observing some key points. And one of the things is that they need to be ready. They need to be willing, right? And I can tell you, 99% of the people right off the bat, we see they're ready and they're willing. Well, with that, boy, we can build an organization. You can, but it might be one of those organizations where it's called running the numbers, where it's just in and out and in and out. And you're throwing stuff up against the wall and you're wanting to see what sticks. Observation in mental profits, the observation part is you need to find people who are ready, willing, and here's the key, able. So you have to observe their pattern. You can't take them out of their pattern, right? Because you can't fix who they are until when? Until they're ready to fix who they are. And until they're ready to change what they need to change, until fill in the blank. So the observation is are they able? They can say, oh my gosh, I'm going to do this. I've got 1,000 friends that need to do this. And they may have a circle of influence. They may have all of this. They may have everything that absolutely sends you into orbit going, oh my gosh, I found my next diamond. But are they able? So in the observation, you need to learn some questioning, some conversation, some in the rapport building, in the getting to know them part. You need to find out how able are they to commit to their dreams. Some of you I've worked with, I'm looking at the list. Some of you I've worked with personally. And we've had these dreams for too long, meaning we've had them and we're still looking for them. And if we're still looking for them and we can't get to them, we can't achieve them, we can't arrive at them, the reality, the hard part is we have to start looking someplace else. Meaning inside, because the dream is always there. You can't have a dream and not be able to achieve it. God's not that, he's not that mean. He may have a great sense of humor. Oh my gosh, look at the dream that Sean's having. He can't do that. That would never happen. If you can see it and achieve it, right? Napoleon Hill, if you can see it and believe it, you can achieve it. So in the observation, are they capable to achieve their goals? Do they have the ability to make the change? Do they have the ability to take the next step? Because folks, when I teach people, when I sit down privately with my private students, if you will, my private partners in Mental Profits, the question I ask is that, are we going for something you've never had before? That's what a goal is, right? Going someplace you haven't been before. Now, maybe some people are talking about weight loss and they want to lose 20 pounds and they were 20 pounds lighter at one time. Or somebody wants to get their income back up to $10,000 a month and they had it at $10,000 a month before. That's not always, it's a goal, it's a target, but a true goal is something you haven't done before. So if you're going to go work on things you've done before, congratulations, you know the path, you know the way there. That's the big thing that's missing there, is getting back to that is what's called discipline. But when we're talking about goal setting and we're talking about true new territory, new places in life, you have to observe, do they have the potential? Do they have the capability, the personality, the emotional state to step off into new land? And that you get through questioning. Some of the things I ask people when we're talking about people who are new to the industry of network marketing, or people who have never achieved those dollar figures on a weekly or monthly basis, or organizational size. First thing, because this is a people business and we're all about developing rapport, the first observation I ask them, are they capable of observing or being a part of or changing in their lives? Are you okay with working with a team? Well, of course. No, let me ask you a question. When's the last time you were on a successful team? See, folks, if you listen to that question, if you listen to the power that's behind that question and all of the offshoots of success from that one path, have you worked with a successful team? Are you okay with being on a team full of successful people? Boy, I can tell you that opens up so many hidden doors of fear, of doubt, of frustration, of lack that you can't even begin to imagine. Are you okay with working with a team of successful people? So what does that translate to? Oh my gosh, I'm not in this by myself. I'm going to have support. There's going to be people who know more than I do. Maybe I can bring some value to the team. But here's the real part. How many of us have known people who have gone off and been that lone ranger in their business? Oh my gosh, I'm going to put 1,000 people in this business by next week. And we go, awesome, outstanding. And we just don't know how to help them through that process, because it could be possible. Is it reality? For most people, it's not. So in the observation, what are some things you need to observe? Now, this is to help you have more of your mental profits, more of what you want coming into your life showing up, so that you don't get frustrated or spend time going down a rabbit trail that doesn't make any sense. Are they okay with working with a successful team? The next question I ask folks is, when is the last time you were on a successful team? Well, what do you mean, successful team? Well, when's the last time you and a group of people worked together to achieve a goal, excuse me, that was considered a reach, that was considered special? You know, when most people really, if they think about a team working cohesively together that they were a part of, a lot of times it takes them back to school. Most people don't know how to work to be a part of a team. They're not used to being a part. Now, they have groups inside of their corporation. They're part of this department or that department, but they've not, it's been a while, let me just say it that way. It's been a while since they've had this cohesive camaraderie of team building, of building one another. Harvard University did a study, and then in the workplace, and in this study, what they found is that if you watching this right now was across the office from me, I had my office, and then there's the hallway, and across that hallway, you were in another office. Harvard found out that if I knew exactly the person that had the answer to my question, and it's you, you're sitting right over there 20 feet away from me. You know how long it would take me to go have the courage, to have the gumption, to have the passion to go ask you the question? This is amazing. I know you know the answer. You could take me out of the problem that I'm in, but it would take me 2.3 days to go ask you for help. And that's business partners. That's camaraderie. I mean, that's 2.3 days to get my answer. What do you think it is in a world of volunteers? How long do you think it takes somebody to ask for help? Folks, this observation part is so key to your profits, to your mental profits, to your creating what needs to be coming into your life. You need to observe their responses, their answers on how to get what they're looking for. So that's observation. So F, this follows right behind that. Profits, Profits. We're in the F. Finding out. Folks, I barely made it through high school. I got to keep things simple like this. Otherwise, I'll not get to the point. So finding out. So now that we've observed, can they do it? We need to find out, how will they do it? See, because there's two plans that work. There's my plan and there's your plan. Now, I can tell you how to use my plan, how to leverage what I've been able to do, how to get better at things like I'm better at. But where's the real plan come in? It's your plan. Your plan. Why do you fail? Because you didn't follow your plan. I could give you exactly my plan laid out step for step, but you're going to tweak it. This instant that part of it becomes part of your DNA, part of who you are, part of what you do, it's your plan. It's always your plan. When you see the great Bill Gove, the father of public speaking, if you get a chance, you need to go check this guy out, Steve Siebold. It's called the Gove-Siebold Network. And Gove-Siebold is Bill Gove, the father of public speaking. See, Bill Gove taught me many, many years ago. And he said, in public speaking, one of the things that it's important to remember is to be responsible to them, not for them. And that's a challenge in network marketing. See, when we go to find out what they need, how they need, what they do, in our observation, what are they capable of? Are they ready, willing, and able? A lot of times in network marketing, we say, well, you know what? I'll just get you your starter pack. You're all excited about it. You don't have the money right now. I'll help you get started. Anyone ever do that? Help anyone get started? Okay, you don't have to say it all in the comments. The point is this. in that finding out, you need to lay out an ABC 1, 2, 3. Only three things they need to do in the next 24 hours. Only three things they need to, three bigger stones they need to work on in the next week. Three bigger stones they need to work on in the next month. Three real big stuff. What are we doing in the finding out? We're finding out there. Three little letters. Those three little letters are WHY. We're finding out their why. Yeah, that's what we really need to do. We talk about that in the very beginning. Hold on just a second. Why don't you take a cup of coffee? Have a sip. We talk about finding out their why. I've been known in Italy. There's a couple of companies that I've worked with in the past that if I go to Italy, I'm called Mr. Pourquoi, Mr. Why. That's what they call me, because we always need to find out somebody's why. See, people who know why have people that work for them who know how. See, the phrase goes, if you know how, you'll probably work for somebody that knows why. In network marketing, it's the same thing. People who become part of your organization, it's because you know why, and they get on your bandwagon, they follow you down the path because you know why. You're finding out every day how to move closer and closer and closer to your goal. When we sit down with somebody and we have a conversation with them, Sinlac, I forget the gentleman's first name, but he did this chart, and people will do business with you if you know why, not because you know how. People stand in line. Apple has sold what, 10 million new iPhone 6s? Why? Why do people stand in line? I see people standing in line who they don't have a house payment, but they're standing in line for an iPhone. Why? The company has done a great job at making them feel special, important, making them feel that they've achieved something, and they've achieved a rank in life by having what somebody else can't. Well, we're talking about your business. We're talking about mental profits. Shouldn't you have what you want in life? So finding out. So you need to find out, what can they do? Find their big goal, right? And then break it down into the bite-sized chunks, little chunks, little chunks, little chunks. Because they need to do three things. I don't know what those three things are. That's where you become brilliant at finding out what they do. See, I learned a long time ago, I don't know the answer. I'm not smart enough to know all the answers. But I have become smart enough to be able to ask you some simple questions to help you, I don't want to say pull out fear. I've been able to create some questions that allow you to know exactly what you need to do today. So here's how the questions flow. In the next 24 hours, there's three things you can do to move your business forward. What are those three things? Boom, boom, boom. For those of you listening, there's three things you can do to take your business to the next level. And those things can happen in the next 24 hours. What are they? Now, it may not be the ultimate goal. You may not get the triple diamond pin tomorrow, but there's three things you need to do. Well, one is probably what? Retain people, keep people part of your business, recognize people, and bring in new blood. So those are the three areas. My mentor taught me to go where the relationships are, where the most growth is, and where the money is. So relationships, build them. Where the new money is, build that. And then where the growth is. Because new money may just be having some old customers. It's called the Z curve of marketing. Maybe having some people become better consumers. Having people who stop buying become buyers again, become consumers again. So that's finding out. All right. Let's see. We've got, okay. Let me get through this because I want to make sure I cover it all. Because each one of these can be a 3-day, 3-week conversation. So now we're about I. So we talked about people, creating the rapport, making sure we understand, we see, we observe what they're capable of doing. We're finding out how are they going to take the next steps. And then we need to talk about including. Including what? Including them in their own dream. This is so important. Let me ask you a question. mental profits. Our thoughts create our incomes. There's something that precedes the thought. And in my private classes, in my private trainings that I teach people, I really talk about mental profits. Your feelings create your thoughts. See, there is a precursor to thought, and it's feeling. And the reason people quit is because they haven't been able to lock in. They haven't been able to keep that feeling alive, keep it bright enough, strong enough. In the face of darkness, they haven't been able to keep that light burning inside of their own life. So it's so important in the including that they include themselves in their dreams. Sean, I don't understand that. And maybe you do, but most people, when we're having this conversation, go, what are you talking about? If you have ever had a goal and then decided that goal wasn't worthwhile, decided that it was time to forget about that and move on to something else, who told you to forget about it? Who told you to stop going after it? Who said it was no longer important? See, it's in that understanding that we are not our thoughts, that there's another part of us, there's the ego that lives inside of us, that's those thoughts that are running around in our head that we go, boy, I wish I could just stop my thoughts. It's that part. See, and if we don't include that part in this new going forward, in this new path, in this new journey, they're going to kick and fight and scream and come up with 1,000 reasons why you'll never succeed at anything, especially this business and network marketing. So when those thoughts come up, we need to include them. But here's how we include them. We thank them for being there. Oh, well, don't think about negative stuff. How can you not? It's impossible until you get to the point to where you're not thinking about it. All right, what's the expression? Well, so what am I supposed to say right now? What does every trainer say when we say, don't think about it? Think about a pink elephant, right? Oh, you can't not think about a pink. Of course. What thoughts come in, we catch them. We do something with them. We have to file them away. So let's not be confused that in the next 30 days that you're a part of my organization, that I'm going to help you get you focused, in tune, turned on, fired up, and moving forward, that you're not going to have a single negative thought. Really? We have to include all, that's part of you. Those fears, those doubts, those disbeliefs, those unbelievables, those things that make your heart pound, that make you break out in the sweat, those are real. You can't tell somebody, that's not real. Oh, that's your negative thinking. Well, yeah, it is. So how do I overcome it? You have to include it. You have to let them know that it's going to be okay. If you ever had to deal with a scared child, you said, no, that's okay. That's okay. It's going to be all right. You have to allow those thoughts to show up. Now, here's what you do. You don't have to allow them to keep showing up. You have to thank them. Ooh, whoa. Fear and doubt just knocked down my front door. Thank you. Thank you. Not right now. I'll get back to you later. See, because if we don't acknowledge it, what happens if we don't acknowledge our child? Mommy, 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 mommy. We go nuts. All right. So you have to include all of those ideas, all of those thoughts. You have to include them, make sure that they're going to be recognized. You don't have to act on it, but you just have to give that ego part of you going, okay, so all right, so we're going to a place that we're all going to get better, right? You're not going to forget about me. You're not going to leave me behind. And the answer is no. Because when you start to have the conversations where your ego starts working for you as opposed to against you, this is when you see people, this is when you call people humble. This is when you call people great. This is when you call people unbelievable. Is when they've figured out how to have their ego working with them. See, I call ego energy going onward, Godward, and upward. So it's a good thing to have an ego. It's what drives you. So that's the including part of profits. So we've got the people, the rapport, the observation, the finding out, how can they get it done, the including, and now here's the timing. Jim Rohn says there's a time for planting and there's a time for harvesting. Never confuse the two. Don't try when you plant, say, give me corn, give me product, give me produce. Doesn't happen that way. So what is the timing? The T in profit. So what is the timing? The timing is on their time. Now, let me share something with you real quick. There's three kinds of educators. First one is a teacher. Most important, brilliant people. Gosh, like I said earlier, we need to be paying them doctor salaries. A teacher is going to teach you what you didn't know, right? We go to school to learn things we didn't know. Math, spelling. I still don't do either of those well. Well, I do math pretty good. I understand how to add up a check. Spelling, not so much. That's why I'm talking today. So a teacher is going to teach you how to do things you didn't know. That's what they do. They teach. Now, here's what a coach will do. A coach is going to teach you how to get better at a particular thing. There's a lot of coaches out there that can tell you how to get better at public speaking, how to get better at presentations, how to get better at closing, how to get better at baseball, golf. They're going to teach you how to get better. You already have some basic skills that you want to tune, you want to fine tune, you want to get sharpened, you want to get better at, right? Because the 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle, 80% of our income comes from 20% of our actions. So we really, if we can get better at those 20% as opposed to the 80 things that only produce 20% of our income, get better at the 20%, get better at the 2%, because when you really break that down in the 20%, 80% of the actions inside of there still don't produce the income. It's only 20% inside of there produce 80% of all of it. And you can keep breaking that down. My point is this, is that in the timing, when should it happen? There needs to be a specific date. See, if you begin to work with somebody, you've planted a seed, they've planted a seed. The seed you've planted in them is passion, desire, future. The seed they need to plant in themselves is activity, right now, today, tomorrow, and the next day. So you need to set a schedule on when they plan on harvesting their goal. Because to get somebody started, and we talk about the 48-hour follow-up in the industry, we talk about the 90-day plan. Those are all extraordinarily important. But you know what's most important? Is the first 90 minutes after you leave them. Because here, let me let you in on a secret. You know what the most important conversation is you could ever have with somebody joining your business? The most important conversation ever. You're never a part of it. What? Let me explain. The most important conversation that ever happens with a prospect, with a client, with a business partner, are the conversations we're not privy to. We're not a part of them. That's why people quit. People don't quit in front of you. They quit at home and they call you up or they cancel auto ship. They don't quit in front of you. They quit because the timing they had, something fell off the tracks. The wheels fell off. The timing just went totally sideways and they said, that doesn't work. But they'll call it something else. And then we accept that. See, if you set up the timing to make sure they get to their points, point A, point B, point C, on a consistent basis, changes the whole thing. You work on the timing with somebody, and I promise you, without a shadow of a doubt, you work on the timing with somebody, there are 3 things that they can do in the next 24 hours. Isn't that timing? It sure is. What if they achieve it? Man, wouldn't that be great? See, this comes back to the including them in their dreams. Listen, Sean, let me ask you a question. We've got this target. We've got this started, and great. We want to get to $5,000 a month in the next 90 days. Absolutely possible. How do I know it's possible? Other people have done it. So if other people have done it, I can show you the path how to do that as well. But let me ask you this. In the next 72 hours, what do you need to stay plugged in, to stay tuned in, to stay turned on? What do you need to see in the next 72 hours so that you know you're on the right path? Because here's what it really comes down to, the next 90 minutes. See, most people don't understand this and they haven't really thought about it. But after that initial conversation, that initial enrollment, It's the next 90 minutes whether they decide they're in or they're out. Now, a lot of times it's subconsciously. It's that fear of, oh my gosh, my life has changed. If you haven't prepared them for the change, they're gone. Oh my gosh, I have 100 pieces of product coming in the next 72 hours. If they're not ready to be enthusiastic when they receive that, what are they? They're in panic mode and they quit. See, the timing is every moment for the next, how many days does it take to form a habit? 21 days. When do most people quit? In the first 21 minutes after you're gone. That's an exaggeration, but they quit soon. Why? Because they didn't know the timing of their plan. So that's so important to understand the timing. And again, we can go into more of this information individually if you want. Please feel free to reach out to me. But I want to make sure that we end this on time, because I can go on and on and on. And this is, again, timing. I said we're going to do this, get it all done inside of this point, and I'm going to respect that time. How many times do you sit down with somebody and say you're going to do a half-hour presentation or an hour presentation or a coffee shop meeting, and you say it's an hour and it turns into 2 hours? How many times does your presentation that you say is going to be an hour long goes an hour and a half, goes an hour and 45 minutes? Oh, yeah, but everyone's used to that. No, it's time to change that. I was at an event not too long ago, and I had 90 minutes to speak. I ended on 89 minutes and 48 seconds. The company was shocked. They didn't know what to do because they had never had anyone end on time. Folks, if you're going to give somebody the responsibility, the respect that they deserve, and you say it's going to be this and this, you better keep it inside of that window. You want to talk about how to raise your level of professionalism? Keep your timing to the exact that you said. And then you can always get permission to extend it. And that's, again, that's in presentation mode. I'll talk about that later. And then the last thing is support. Ask them what kind of support they need. And if they say, well, I don't need much, then you know that they're not ready to move forward in their conversation with themselves. If they say that, say, listen, if you need to go back and you need to find out their why. So you say you don't need much support. So let me ask you, have you achieved this goal before? No. Do you think you can do it in the time frame that you have? What's going to have to change in your life to get that done? Would it be fair to say that because you haven't gone after this goal before, because you haven't reached it before, because you haven't seen the benefits of having that goal, that you don't think you need the support? Because you just don't. I can promise you, you're going to need this, 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 and this, and I'm going to be here for every one of those steps. But see, when you start to look at the rest of the story, you can really control the profits that are coming into your life, emotionally, financially, spiritually, mentally, physically. Because if you lose 10 pounds, if you lose 20 pounds, didn't you just profit with more energy, more time, better feeling about yourself? If you had an extra $1,000 a month coming into your life, wouldn't that be great profits? You could spend down some bills, you could do this, you could do that. Everything we do creates profits. Or the converse, creates that debit, creates that expense, that I-O kind of feeling. And most people don't want to have that I-O kind of feeling. I hope this has been of value today. If it has, share it with folks. I want to make sure that everyone sees this, because my goal is to help you have better mental profits, to help you have better thoughts that create your income. Has this been of value? If it is, do me a favor. Find me on Facebook. Send me a note, SeanGMurphyNow@gmail.com or mentalprofits@gmail.com. Send me a note. What are the two things that I always ask my students? What's one thing you learned and one thing you liked? What's one thing you learned? Well, we've covered a lot of stuff. Excuse me. We've covered a lot of stuff in the last 48 minutes. But what's one thing you learned? And then one thing you liked. Because if you can do those two things, boy, today will be unbelievable for you. Because we have so much in life. And I always ask when I'm prospecting, when I'm talking to folks, so we've spent some time together, what's one thing you learned? Because that tells me Where are they wanting to increase in their life? Where are they wanting to focus more in their life? So that's one thing they learned. And then the one thing they like, boy, if I can help people do more things they like, if when I'm around them, they like what we do together, do you think they'd hang around me more? Sure they would. So I appreciate you being part of this. Hey, do me a favor, go to Facebook, say that you were on this webinar, say that you watched the recording, and just, we need to get this out together. You're part of this. You're on this mission with me to help people have more. If this is of value, let them see this. Be the hero to them today, because you know what? I can promise you somebody was looking for this today. Somebody will be looking for this tomorrow. And guess what? You get to be their hero. Say, listen, I've got a resource for you. It's this guy, Dallas, Texas, Sean Murphy. Go watch this hangout. Go watch this recording and see if it doesn't bring value to your life. But guess what? Even though I'm sharing the conversation here, who shared the concept? Who created the rapport by being that resource? You did. And I appreciate you for that. Thank you for allowing me to live my passion, to live my dream, to help people have more of what they want and less of what they don't. Welcome to Mental Profits. Your thoughts create your income. I appreciate you being here. Click like, share it with folks. Make sure you're part of the Mental Profits community. There's some real neat things that are coming up inside of the community that aren't going to be shared on Facebook. They're not going to be public access. It's only going to be inside that community, because I know, as it says in Think and Grow Rich, if we create this mastermind of people, whew, I get so excited when I know what we're already doing and yet what the potential is to be done. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so very much. And I'm Sean G. Murphy, and I'll see you where? That's right, at the next event. Till then, bye for now. I'm watching the comments. I love you too. Take care. Ciao, adios, paso un buen día. Éxitos a todo. Gracias. I forget how to say it in Slovenia. Thank you. Dobry dzień. That's it. Dobry dzień. Dobry dzień. I'm supposed to look at you when I say that. Dobry dzień. Love you all. Bye for now.